So this week I've been reading some stories about friendship, and I wanted to read some stories from this book. It's called Animal BFFs, and they're true stories. So this is nonfiction, um, but just really, really appealing stories. There are 12 different stories in this book, which was a present to me a couple of years ago from our book fair, and I love it. There are 12 stories. I'm going to read three of them. And the first one is called Rosie and Maddie. And you can see it's about a dog and a fox. Fox cubs or kits are born with their eyes closed. Rosie was just a little fox cub when she was found alone in the woods in Great Britain. Her eyes weren't open, which meant she was only a few weeks old. Her mom and dad couldn't be found anywhere. Luckily, a family adopted the little fox cub and took her home. Rosie didn't know it, but there was even more luck in store for her. When Rosie arrived at her new home, a furry dog named Maddie was there to greet her. Maddie began to lick the young fox like she was a puppy. The friendly dog would soon become her new best friend. Having a fox for a pet is a bit unusual. The family wanted to house train Rosie so she could live inside. They looked to Maddie for help. She had always been a gentle dog and helped her owners care for injured wildlife before. Maddie took the job seriously. She showed the fox cub what it was like to live in a home. The fox cub learned quickly. Before long, Rosie learned how to sit, then she learned how to earn a treat. Finally, she learned how to go outside when she needed to use the bathroom. Rosie is very smart, and Maddie was a good teacher. The fox cub looked up to the terrier, and soon they become great friends. Rosie started acting like a pet dog and even perched on top of the couch like her furry friend does. Dogs and foxes have a lot in common. They're both active and like to play. So after learning tricks, it was time for some fun. The two pals love to jump on top of each other and roll in the grass. Rosie is smaller and loves to dive onto Maddie and surprise her. They chase each other around the vegetable patch in their backyard and sometimes in the house. When they play inside, they act just as crazy, which makes the house a mess. Once Rosie grew bigger, she had to be moved outside to the backyard. Maddie visits her every day and greets her with a wagging tail. They love chasing sticks that their owner throws for them. The furry friends sometimes fight like sisters. Whenever Maddie has something, Rosie wants it. She wants to be just like her big sis. If the dog has a stick in her mouth, then the little fox is going to jump all over her to try and get it. When Rosie doesn't get what she wants, she makes noises. Foxes can make all kinds of sounds. Maddie doesn't know what they mean exactly, but she probably understands that the little fox is mad. It's easy to understand a fit. At the end of the day, the two friends love to cuddle with each other. Sometimes Rosie jumps into Maddie's bed to snuggle with her, even though the bed is only meant for one dog. Maddie is a mixed terrier, the same kind of breed that hunts foxes for sport in England. Other dogs like her may have seen a fox and thought it was an enemy, but when Maddie met Rosie, all she saw was a friend. Everyone deserves a chance. You never know where you'll find your next BFF. And there they are snoozing. Okay. The next story is called Morris and Champy. This one, as you can see, is about a cat and horse. Morris loves to go horseback riding. Every morning he hops on his chestnut brown horse Champy for a sunrise trot. But there's one thing that's unusual about this story. Morris is a cat. Jennifer lives in Australia with her pet horse Champy and her black cat Morris. When she brought Morris home from the animal shelter, she never imagined that he would become her horse's best friend. It all started when Morris began lounging lazily on the front porch. Champy took notice of the furry feline, but Morris wasn't interested in the attention. He had never met a horse before, and horses are a lot bigger than cats. That could be scary for a small cat like Morris. But Champy was persistent. He wanted to be friends with Jennifer's new pet. Champy began grooming Morris. When horses show affection, they lick, nuzzle, and lean into one another. So that's what Champy did to Morris. The cat was puzzled, but he didn't run away. He realized pretty quickly that Champy was just acting friendly. One day, Morris jumped on Champy's back. Jennifer couldn't believe it. It seemed like Morris wanted to show Champy that he was ready to be friends. He started grooming the big horse's mane and tail with his tongue. That's a big job for a tiny cat. Once the two felt comfortable with each other, Champy started walking around while Morris was sitting on his back. As long as Champy is wearing a special rug or saddle pad on his back, Morris feels safe and isn't scared of slipping off. Morris goes on rides with Champy basically every day. The cold, wind, and rain don't stop him from visiting his best friend. Whenever Morris feels like a ride, he climbs onto a fence post. Champy knows that means it's time for a trot. It's like a bus pulling up to a bus stop. Once Champy trots over, Morris hops on his back from the fence post. Then Champy takes him wherever he'd like to go. Sometimes he'll give Morris a ride before he's even eaten his breakfast. When the horse wants to pause and graze for a bit, Morris stays on his back and lets his friend take a break. Morris goes for horseback rides so often that Jennifer has to compete with the kitty for riding time. Jennifer needs to train Champy, but it's hard to pull Morris away from his best friend. So while Jennifer is working with Champy, Morris will watch his friend from the sidelines. Jennifer bought Morris a special horse riding jacket to wear in the cold weather. After all, Morris spends more time horseback riding than Jennifer does. Champy is an incredibly friendly horse. He's tried to befriend Jennifer's other cat, Winston, again and again, but Winston is too shy. And the friendliness doesn't stop there. Since they live in Australia, kangaroos and baby joeys will sometimes bounce by the fences. Champy tries to make friends with them too. Champy knows you can never have too many friends and you can never run out of kindness. After all, a small act of kindness can lead to big things, like a great friend. All right, and the last one I'm going to read is Terra and Bella, and this one you can see is about a dog again and an elephant. An elephant sanctuary isn't a typical place for a dog to call home, but when a stray dog named Bella wandered into this safe space, she found more than just a home. She found a best friend too. Tara the elephant used to be a star. She performed in circuses and zoos all across the country. After years of working, it was time for Tara to retire and rest. She headed to the elephant sanctuary in Tennessee, a place that cares for elephants. Many elephants live there happily and are allowed to roam free. Tara knew she would fit in perfectly. When Tara arrived, she was lonely and didn't know anyone. Often, a new elephant quickly becomes best friend with another elephant at the sanctuary. Tara hadn't found an Ella friend yet, but she was interested in someone else, a furry white dog named Bella. Bella was not the first stray dog to wander into the elephant sanctuary. There are about a dozen dogs wandering around the area. Usually the dogs and elephants ignore one another, but that wasn't the case for Bella and Tara. They became instant friends. The owners of the elephant sanctuary couldn't believe it. How could a dog and an elephant become friends? On the outside, these two animals were nothing alike. Bella had soft fur while Tara had rough skin. Tara weighed 8,700 pounds, and Bella was more than 100 times smaller. But elephants and dogs have more in common than you think. They are both social creatures, which means they like to have a friend by their side. They're also both smart, loyal, and have better memories than most other animals. Bella and Tara not only became great friends, they became inseparable. They ate together, drank together, slept together, and played together. They loved to run around the sanctuary, swim in ponds, and take cuddle breaks under the warm sun. They even played in the snow together. The two BFFs were always spotted side by side. One day, Bella hurt her back. She couldn't walk or wag her tail. The caretakers at the sanctuary brought Bella inside their office to nurse her back to health. Tara didn't know what was going on, just that her friend was missing. She was terribly sad without her companion. So the big elephant stayed right outside Bella's door. Instead of roaming the sanctuary, Tara waited and waited some more. Everyone noticed how much the friends missed each other. The caretakers knew they had to do something. So after a few days, they carried Bella outside to the balcony so she could see her elephant pal standing guard below. below. Bella's tail started wagging. The friends were so happy to see each other, even though it was only for a little bit. Every day after that, Bella was allowed to visit with Terra outside. Slowly, Bella started to feel better, especially with daily visits from her Ella friend. 3 weeks later, Bella was released. Tara petted her best bud with her trunk and made loud noises to show how excited she was. The little dog would even roll onto her back and let Tara stroke her stomach with her foot. Tara and Bella were gentle, patient, and trusting. They were kind and protective of each other. Their friendship may seem unusual, but it's no different than the friendship between you and your best friend. Something that looks different on the outside could be perfectly normal on the inside. Bella and Tara proved that. So, those are some great stories. And I hope, even though you're probably missing some friends right now, I hope you're getting to at least maybe talk to them on the phone or see them over Zoom or Teams calls. And I hope that we'll all be back together soon.